Here's The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask in Unreal Engine 5. So, I seen this headline and I wanted to go ahead and do a video on this just because I seen that there was, a video out there that showcases Termina and, kind of the look of it and everything like that from Majora's Mask, which I thought was actually pretty cool. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I kind of skimmed through a little bit of the video. I didn't watch the whole thing from beginning to end, and I'm a little bit indifferent about this. You guys will see right now in a second. I'm gonna play the video and just kind of show you guys that it has the look of Majora's Mask and everything like that in regards to the clock tower and then clock town and everything like that. But there's just something about it to me that just seems a little bit. I don't know, like if off is the right word, but yeah, I'm a little bit skeptical with what I see here. So I'm gonna go ahead and showcase the video. I'm gonna pause it as we go along and everything like that, and then I'll give my thoughts as we go ahead and watch this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and zoom in really quick, get this nice and big, and then let me just adjust the volume really quick just to be sure. Get the picture quality just right. All right, so let's check this out. Now, for me, one of the things I was kind of hoping is that they would have actually done the music for Clocktown here. So like the doom 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 doom. So kind of like when you first play Majora's Mask and you started off like the main menu kind of a thing. If they would have played that instead of the music that we got here. Just because I felt like it would have fit a little bit better, especially with this type of aesthetic, with it being Majora's Mask and everything. Now, I gotta say, like I said, there's just something that's a little bit off about this for me, and I feel like what it is this kind of reminds me of like kind of like the art style that you would see with like mobile games, kind of like Clash of Clans a little bit. There are some things that I'm like, I can kind of see what they're going for in regards to giving it that kind of Zelda look, but for some reason it is one of those things that there's just I don't know, for me, like I don't know, I feel like there's some stuff with it that just kind of doesn't necessarily work. Part of me would kind of wish that they would actually have it where you can play as Link and kind of walk around the area and everything like that. But from what I was reading, some of the information that I had gotten, that this was done by the YouTuber in a completely like artistic form. So it took him about a year, which is really impressive, you know what I mean? Even though, like I said, part of it kind of, there's something that's a little bit different for me. I really think it's awesome that they were able to actually do this. This is really a good achievement to be able to kind of make Clocktown and from Majora's Mask like this in such a way that they were able to, and to be able to do it within a year, I feel like it's very impressive. But at the same time, like I said, I think it might be like the art style that it feels a little bit too cartoonish to me. Now I know that there's the other individual that does a lot of Zelda games on Unreal Engine 5. I always forget the name. I think it's up here in the article. Let me see here. So yeah, Kryzen. So I know that they do a lot of like Unreal Engine 5 kind of artwork and everything like that, and they've done a lot of stuff with Majora's Mask. But for some reason, this one I don't like, and I know a lot of people are some like it, some don't. Personally, I think it's all right. I don't think it's too bad. I think it's done fairly well. But yeah, for me, I feel like it's just this looks a little bit too cartoony for me, because at the end of the day, you know what I mean, with the Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, yeah, it did look it obviously it was video game rendered and stuff like that, and there were some stuff that were kind of cartoonish, but at the same time it did have a little bit of a sense of realism to it. And this, I feel like it looks a little bit too much like a cartoonish kind of look to it. But I don't know, from what I was reading, I was checking this out on like YouTube and stuff like that, reading some of the comments, and it seems like a lot of fans out there are really satisfied with what they're seeing here. They really feel like it's done well, and they really appreciate it. Stuff like this, I don't feel like it's too bad when you have like the open field and you're able to kind of see the grassy areas, the grasslands, and kind of in between the different worlds. So I feel like that's done quite well. But I think it's mainly just like the buildings, the clock tower, all that kind of stuff. It just looks like a little bit off to me. I'm not too sure exactly what it is about it, but yeah. Like I said though, I think one of the other things too is the fact that you can actually play through this world. I feel like if you can kind of have a playable Link and go through this area and you can kind of see them, running around, talking to more people and stuff like that, kind of giving a little bit more of a feel of how it looks firsthand, like, you know what I mean, as the third person's like behind the shoulder, third person kind of perspective with Link, and then like right here, seeing the way that the moon looks, like it looks creepy for sure, but I don't know, I feel like it just doesn't have that same quite realistic creepy look that you get from the regular Majora's Mask. That's cool. They put the little description in the background. But yeah, I mean, kudos to this person though, for sure. Being able to actually, like I said, do this within the time frame. Let me see here. Who's the individual? So Benoit Bourgerie. I'm not sure if that's Benoit or Benoit. Yeah, for those that know. But yeah, the fact that, like I said, they were able to get this all done within a year is extremely impressive, and it's really cool because of the fact that, like, doing something like this, it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of skill. For anyone that doesn't know, you know what I mean, being able to work with Unreal Engine, it's not an easy task. It's very difficult. I've done it myself before. I downloaded Unreal Engine 4 back in the day, and I, had messed with it here and there, and it takes a lot of knowledge to be able to do this type of stuff and do it well. So the fact that they were able to actually recreate all of the clock town from Majora's Mask, I think that's an achievement in itself, and kind of give it a lot of these little details and stuff like that. Some of the walls with like the stones, all the flags here, the boxes in the same sense that they have it. It's impressive, man. At the end of the day, like, that cannot be denied. This is very impressive. Even right here, you see that it's got like holes right here. It looks like it's kind of run down. Stuff like that really builds character to the look of this type of stuff. And the fact that this individual was able to actually capture that and do that well for this, I think is really cool. Like I said, the art style I feel like might just be a little bit too cartoonish for me. When it comes down to seeing like some of the buildings, the areas and stuff like that. But overall, still, the fact that they were able to do this is, it's kudos to them, man. Like, that's really cool that they were able to do that. But yeah, as far as the look goes, personally, I think I probably would have liked it just to have a little bit less of a cartoony look, a little bit more realistic. But like I said, from what I've been reading in the comments and everything like that, I feel like that I might be kind of in the minority when it comes down to that. But yeah, the fact that they were able to do this though, again, is really fucking cool. So shout out to them. I'm gonna go ahead and leave this video in the description, so for anyone that does want to watch it themselves, you're gonna be able to, obviously. And yeah, so those are my thoughts on this. If you guys can actually let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. So if for anyone that's able to see this, what are your guys' thoughts? Do you think this is like really like, obviously it's impressive, but like, do you really look like the aesthetic of it and the look of it? Or like myself, do you feel like you would kind of prefer to kind of see something just a little bit different, not too cartoonish the way that this kind of is? So if you guys can let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments, if you guys can like, share, subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, and if you guys can subscribe, I really would appreciate that. I mentioned it in my last video with the Power Rangers. I'm really trying to see if I can grow this channel and actually get more following and get more viewership. So if you guys have been watching for this long and you guys have the ability to hit that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. As well as if you guys could leave some comments into some of these videos that I'm going to be doing more recently, to kind of let me know if there's any topics you want me to discuss, if there's anything you want me to go over, or if there's any video ideas you guys might have on what you guys would be interested in actually watching. I'm gonna obviously try to stick to what I'm doing as far as following reactions to trailers, some of these types of videos, reading some of the articles and stuff like that. But if there is anything else you guys would like to see as well, if you guys can let me know, I would really appreciate it. And I'd greatly, I'd be very grateful in that regard. So yeah, so if you guys again could like, share, again, if you guys can subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, until next time, Harmonic out. Peace.